Hello, everybody, welcome back. And today I'm talking about 5 games from the PS2 era that stuck with me and still to this day I love. And one of them may surprise you. Listen, I had to do the YouTube thing, you'll forgive me. In no particular order, okay? You fucks, I can't choose between Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I mean, I love all of them, right? So all of the Pro Skater Tony Hawk's titles were amazing. This one I really enjoyed. And look at this. It even comes with a thick manual. Do you guys remember when games used to come with like an actual like little booklet? You could like go to the toilet and read this thing or something. I don't know. I don't know what good it was for, but I kind of enjoyed it. And this game, like the others, had great music, great gameplay. I was in a skater phase back then in my teens, and it all kind of came together for me to love all of these games. And there was something about the culture as well, about the personalities of the different skaters, right? Ben Margera, Tony Hawk's, Rodney Mullen. That was like my favorite because he used to do on-ground tricks versus instead of vertical stuff. And you know, there was so much to it. It was a whole culture. What can I say? Basil, relax, buddy. We're doing a video. Yeah, good boy. Next up, Final Fantasy X. Maybe my favorite JRPG of all time, right? Maybe. It's, for me, an amazing game. And this, when it came out, it's... So to give a bit of context, right? So Final Fantasy IX, the one prior to this, was a much more subdued graphically, let's say, game. Where it was... That one was the first Final Fantasy to do like cool cinematics, let's say, but they had no sound. So they had music to them, but they had like no real sound effects, and like no voices and stuff like that. So this was a massive jump, guys. When this came out and they showed a video, and they're like, "This is the game you can play," I was fucking blown away. I was like, dude, this is playable? It's not just some engine demo? And you jump in and straight away, the quality and the jump in production levels was insane. Not only do you have, you know, really good, for my opinion anyway, voice acting and characters, but the visuals were insane. And everything looked crisp as hell. And very interesting. And then you jump into it, and there's an actual, you know, really good game there. Whether you like the story or not, I did. The actual gameplay was really, really polished as well. You had an amazing sphere grid system to level up, and the end game in this thing is a beast. You could erase every single sphere node in your sphere grid. Let's have a sip of coffee. And replace it with new nodes, new and better nodes, to min-max all the stats. So that you could have like maxed stats for everything. Defense, attack, magic attack. All of those you could max up. And that also affected your Aeons in, you know, your summonings and stuff like that. And you needed to do all that if you wanted to conquer the end game in this thing, which is brutal. Right, so you have to fight dark versions of all your Aeons, which are way stronger, of course, than yours. And in the end, you have to fight a boss called Penance, which is also just brutal, right? Brutal. I think it took me over an hour. The attempt that I did where I killed Penance took about an hour or over an hour to do. So it's very lengthy, very difficult fight. And then in the back of this. And this next one is almost grandfathered in. It's not really one of my favorite games at all, but because I was coming off so strong off the back of this one, when this came out, right, X2, I was like, oh my god, this has never happened. A direct, because normally in the series, it's a brand new game, right? So, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, completely different from the ground up. This is like the first time that I saw in the series, like, dude, they made an actual sequel to it. I have to play it. Excitement was off the roof, and expectations were also off the roof. And you guys know, back in those days, there weren't many like game reviews to prepare you what to expect and to manage your expectations. So I went into this expecting a fucking stellar game, and instead it was I mean, I really had to power through the 60% of the beginning of this game because it was just not that good. Not that fun. The gameplay turned into something very different, and I see what they were trying to do with it, with like more fun and laid back combat styles and introducing some fun jobs and roles. It just didn't work out for me at all. They had this camaraderie with, you know, the girls working together and stuff, but just never quite connected, and the characters just not as good as the first one, especially the new character Pain. So you had basically three characters: Riku from the prior game, and Yuna, and then Pain, which is a new character. Just didn't have that much of a personality for me. I didn't enjoy her character as much, and the gameplay which was just not that good. However, because I had so much excitement, I powered through the beginning of that game, and once I got to the end game, there was actually a lot of cool systems there. I still remember there was this 100th floor dungeon that I was gonna say you climb it, but it's the opposite, right? So you're going deeper and deeper levels until you get to level 100, and you fight this guy. I'm trying to remember his name right now. It's an old dude from Yevon, right? From the church. Tenma? Senma? Look, I forgot his name, but he was an epic boss fight. And when you get to him, you have like damage break. So you do these like gunslinger moves where you do a lot of shots, and each shot is doing 99,999 damage because you've grinded it out, and you're maxed out when you get to him. So that was epic. And he was a true raid boss as well. You had to wail on him with everything you had for a while. But when you beat him, it felt great. You had a feeling of overcoming the game, which at the end of the day is what I felt with the first one. So it left me with a good taste in my mouth, despite all the, you know, the cringe stuff in the game, which there was a lot of it. I digress. Let's move on. I truly could go on forever. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. Enough said. What can I say? This moved a generation, didn't it? We all played this game, all of us that were around at that age, and this is an incredible game. It was, I think, the first time that I felt that immersed in a game where I kind of put myself into it, and there was a bit of myself in how I was playing the character. I mean, I had my fucking routine in game, okay? I would boot this up, and the way I would play it is every time it was like morning in the game, I would get my bike, I would go for a ride, hit the gym, do my workouts. I had different like workouts that I would do each day, like just like in real life. And you know, I would treat myself to a burger. Sometimes it was so immersive for me. There's something about it that you could just do so much in this, right? And there was enough mystery in this that I was always just kind of interested in the things that I could do. For example, you know, you could go to a military base, but you weren't supposed to be there. So, you know, people came after you. But what if you could steal one of the jets or one of the planes? And oftentimes you could, like, you know, you get into the airport and you're not supposed to be there, but if you get away with it and you steal one of the planes, for example, that felt incredible. It's like you can actually drive those things. I don't know, there was so much wonder and marveling at everything you could do there. And once again, the game came with a bunch of stuff. This is a full-size map. Here's a guide. I mean, they knew how to do it. You know, nowadays, I get it, it's all digital. You get it all digital. But there's something about getting a physical thing with your game that I think they should bring back, man. There's something enchanting about that, isn't there? But I think I'm just an old man ranting about games. Let's go to the last one. Splinter Cell. Now, this is one of my favorite series of games altogether, right? But this is the one that kicked it off, isn't it? Pandora Tomorrow. I believe this came before Chaos Theory, which was the next one, I think. Sorry if I got that wrong. But this is an amazing game, right? And the first Splinter Cell was already very good. But this one had a lot of cool stuff. It even had co-op, I believe. I'm trying to remember if it was Chaos Theory that had the co-op or if it was this one. But either way, the stuff they did with stealth here felt really cool for me in a way that Metal Gear Solid never did. I really like Metal Gear, don't get me wrong, I love it. But for some reason, this series represents stealth better, or what I want in a stealth game better than Metal Gear Solid. I don't want to like do a competition between the two, but there's something about this that's really special for me. And I could really get into the mindset of like, okay, I'm infiltrating these locations, and you have strats, you play and you learn the lay of the different levels, and then you plan stuff out, and it feels great when you pull off a heist or a hit, and you're not detected. You're basically like a ghost, right? People don't even see you pass because you're just so adept and so well versed with the game. And I think that I miss these games. The last one that I played was, of course, Blacklist, right? That was the last one that they've done, and I want them to come back. I want to see more stealth games and more games also innovating in the genre. I think that now, if I were to play this, it would feel outdated for sure, because let's be honest, the AI wasn't amazing, but I want to see more of this stuff now, and I want to see them push the envelope. I want guards that remember Timmy, who was just patrolling with them and now is missing. Why is Timmy not here, right? And in these games and Uncharted, the reaction of the guards is always like, oh, must have been nothing. No, Timmy is missing, right? Fucking Timmy, who has been drinking with you in the canteen for the past 3 months, is fucking gone, okay? He was next to you. There's someone there fucking with you. Anyway, I digress. I want to see some AI improvements to this kind of game, but it really sedimented one of the big genres that I enjoy and has a special place in my heart. So that's about it for me today. I hope you enjoyed my little rant about older games this time, and I hope you have a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.